Welcome to Vsb News Online for Thursday, February the 5th. I'm Charles Webb. The Bermuda delegation to Washington is returning tomorrow feeling that much has been accomplished and that they have been able to follow the advice of making your friends before you need them. Economic Minister Dr. Grant Gibbons was particularly upbeat about the range of discussions when asked by Vsb News' Brian Darby if the team had been welcomed by both sides of the political fence.
We have. We've been very well received. The Premier and I are now sort of moving into our second day of meetings up here. We've met with people both on the Senate and the House side, and on both sides of the House, and quite a few very senior people as well. So it's been very reassuring. Many of them are sort of what I'll call old associations that they've been supporters of Bermuda for some time, and there's some new leadership moving in as well, and we've taken the opportunity to talk to them about Bermuda and obviously address questions and issues which were of interest to them. But it's been, I think, a very useful session, and it's important, given the long-standing relationship between Bermuda and the United States, to kind of reaffirm those associations, both on the business side, the tourism side, and certainly on issues like the bases and areas where Bermuda's been very supportive in the past of the United States. So I think it's been very well received, and we've been actually surprised at the access that we've had.
You haven't teased them with the fact that it's the 240th anniversary of the gunpowder plot, have you?
Well, actually, interesting enough, it's come up, and in fact, we've met with a couple of representatives from South and North Carolina who are actually very aware of the history, and we certainly took the opportunity to talk about George Washington's thank you letter to Bermuda for the supply of the gunpowder, and they may have felt we were pushing it a little bit, but we talked about the impact that Bermuda had on United States history at that time, and particularly in relation to the British. So anyway, it was we had a good laugh over that.
Because then you threw in the America's Cup for good work.
We did, and actually it was very well received. We had actually met with the Nancy Pelosi earlier on today, and she had, obviously representing San Francisco, had a cap with the America's Cup on it, and she presented to the Premier as a sign of friendship as well. So we were pleased with that, and we're going to obviously report that back to our friends on the Oracle team. So that was actually quite an enjoyable conversation with the leader.
I don't suppose there's much chance to go deep on these subjects, but at least it's face to face, isn't it?
It is, and some people are obviously more knowledgeable than others, and for us, obviously, the reinsurance issues come up, and we reinforce the very positive support that Bermuda companies have provided to the United States, stretching back as far as the Northridge earthquake, the 9/11, hurricanes Katrina, and of course some of the more recent support provided through Sandy as well, and have discussed the importance of that spread of risk over Bermuda and international companies and the support that provides to providing inexpensive coverage to the U.S. And it also extends into crop insurance as well. Bermuda has quite a presence in crop insurance with respect to the United States, so we've got quite a broad reach, and of course it creates jobs in the U.S. as well. So we've reinforced all those issues.
So you're coming home well satisfied?
It's been a very good trip, and I think the timing was good, and it's been I think as I said, we've been well received, and it's important to keep these associations and that relationship, as they often say, you need to make your friends before you need them. So I think that's been part of the effort here as well.
Bermudian entertainers with the required skills will always find work in Bermuda. This according to Home Affairs Minister Senator Michael Fay. He was commenting on the misinformation in the community over the situation regarding local musicians and addressing some of the points made by the Bermuda Entertainment Union. He says the framework for granting incentives for the hiring of local entertainers has not changed. Commenting on the Bermuda Festival's position, Senator Fay said there are many existing opportunities for local entertainment and nothing prevents the BEU from staging their own festival strictly comprising locals.
What used to happen, and what happens now until 1st of March, is that the Bermuda Entertainers Union would vet foreign musicians to see if they were in compliance with international unfair practices or not. And they would collect a traveler's due of, I believe, $100 per person coming that was going to get a work permit. Bermuda Immigration Department would essentially facilitate that fee by saying we're not processing the application until the fee is paid to the Bermuda Entertainers Union. That does not comply with anything else that we do for any other organization in Bermuda. It doesn't make any sense that immigration is helping another entity obtain fees. If you're a bar or a club and you wish to, for example, have an Irish jig band that you want to come in, say, for St. Patrick's Day, you will have to advertise that position in the newspaper. And if there's a good local entertainer that is available to do that kind of music, then they should get the position. If they are not, then in the usual way, someone will get a work permit for that.
The lionfish may still pose a threat to our marine life, and researcher Corey Eddy says the war against these species is very much ongoing. The PhD student in the field of marine ecology conducts research and keeps records in his BIOS office, and invited me to observe the filleting of the fish, give an account of how the war is going and how best Bermudians can enjoy not only catching but eating the delectable lionfish.
Throughout the summer, we do a little bit more active research ourselves, but we rely really year-round on some of these lionfish hunters. And there are groups, we've had a lot of input from the regiment lately, and a charity called Bermuda Ocean Explorers has been great with organizing daily events. There's one coming up on Sunday where we try to engage the entire community excuse me, to show up and get in the water and hunt as many as they can. So we've got that. We know that the lobster fishermen are still catching quite a few lionfish in their traps. And we have a charity called the Ocean Support Foundation that when the weather cooperates, they get down into the really deep water and they can catch huge numbers of lionfish at one time.
Are you able to tell you any numbers that you've caught thus far?
Well, since January 9th, when we actually launched a 3-week tournament to really get people involved, we offered prizes to provide a little motivation. And that was January 9th. It ended on February 1st at midnight. And in those 3 weeks, we caught, last I checked, 99. I'm still waiting for all the results to come in, but about 100 lionfish were caught in 3 weeks, mostly by free divers in very shallow water, usually 20 to 30 feet deep.
How will you be able to determine that this hunt is bearing fruition?
Well, it's not the sort of thing we can get an answer from immediately, but with the research we've been doing, we've had sites that we've been looking at for 2 years now where we're counting lionfish and we're counting reef fish populations as well. And each year when we repeat that, we'll be able to compare the results and we'll recognize if the lionfish population is still growing and we'll recognize if the reef fish population is suffering.
Now, you filleted this lionfish rather nicely, but tell me, what does it taste like?
People describe it a lot like grouper and snapper, and others will say it tastes more like hogfish. So right there you've got 3 of the 4 most popular fish on the island. It's a very mild white fillet, flaky. It's not oily, it's not fishy, so it really absorbs whatever you put into it. If it's breadcrumbs or Italian dressing, it's really easy to prepare hundreds of ways. Whatever your favorite fish meal is, you can do that with lionfish.
So once you've got rid of the fins, it's totally edible.
Yep, once you chop off those spines, and there are 18, so you got to get them all, it's perfectly safe. There's no venom in the flesh at all.
2 state-of-the-art operating rooms will be open on Monday in the maternity unit at the King Edward Hospital and usher an important segment of the hospital's surgical services into the 21st century. With 1/3 of all births now involve planned and emergency cesareans, one of the rooms will be reserved for C-sections, and both can now be found on the same floor as the delivery rooms. Chief of Obstetrics Dr. Dale Wilmot took his staff through a dummy run today and spoke to the media.
On behalf of the Bermuda Hospital Board, I'd like to present to the community 2 modern operating rooms are now ready for use in the maternity unit of King Edward VII Memorial Hospital. The completion of the rooms marks the first operating rooms that have been available within the unit itself. One room will function solely as a state-of-the-art OR for both planned and emergency cesarean sections, with the second room retained for routine deliveries but fully equipped as a backup operating room. Both rooms are located next to the birthing rooms, making it easier for women who require emergency intervention. In the past, mothers requiring emergency cesarean sections were taken to operating rooms that are one level above the maternity unit delivery rooms. Having the ORs within the maternity unit increases the safety not only for mothers, but also for their babies when surgical interventions are required. The close proximity to the special care baby unit within the maternity unit means that if necessary, specialist resources are immediately available for newborns. Having the OR close to the nursery also allows mothers to bond with their babies for longer periods than was possible when the OR was on a different level. And studies show that mother-baby bonding may help prevent diseases, boost immunity, and enhance IQ of the baby. These rooms were designed in 2008 to international standards, incorporating best practices for maternity units. When the new ORs opened in the acute care wing, all but one in the general wing closed. One remained solely to accommodate maternity cases, including emergencies. Because of the shift to the acute care wing, the need for close backup facilities became evident, and the design was revised to incorporate a second room capable of carrying out cesarean sections in an emergency. In addition to its use in emergency cases, the new maternity operating rooms also allow more effective scheduling of planned cesarean sections. Summers Construction won the contraction and began building last year.
Clarion Bank today presented a check to Meals on Wheels amounting to $13,466. It came from donations raised during the bank's annual holiday Give Back program, together with donations from the community and Clarion staff, the Clarion Foundation, and Gibbons Company Charity Shopping Day. Members of the Clarion team also partnered with the Meals on Wheels staff to assist with preparing meals as an element of the Give Back program, which is just one segment of the company's ongoing annual charitable program. 9 local artists who delight in painting in the outdoor daylight and obtaining an impressionistic view of what they see in Bermuda will present their latest work at the Masterworks Museum of Art from this Friday evening until February the 25th. The remarkable works, which use a variety of media including oil, watercolor, and gouache, have been entered by Roma Emerson, Marlene Jensen, Charles Knight, Chris Marston, Steve Masters, Lee Petty, Jill Amos, Graham Randall, and Michelle Smith. They embrace the plein air or outdoor light and air concept in a deliberate attempt to break out the studio and connect with the landscape. The skill on display in this rare exhibition is the evidence of decades of dedication and experience from a group that gathers every Sunday, rain or shine, in different parts of the island to refine their technique. For Vsb News, I'm Charles Webb. And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
Earlier this year, VSB Sports highlighted the fact that in March of 2011, football great Lawrence Taylor was officially declared a sex offender for bedding a teen. Taylor was sentenced to 6 years probation in Rockland County Court for patronizing a prostitute and sexual misconduct. Taylor's probation ends the same year Bermuda will host the America's Cup. A media source in Bermuda reported that Taylor is to be a headliner for this year's Bermuda Golf Classic. Fast forward to yesterday when that same media and reporter attempted to rewrite the story, this time leaving out Taylor's name, and there has been no indication that Taylor has pulled out of the event. 2 organizations, according to the report, are set to benefit as organizers have already selected the 2 charities they hope will benefit from this year's tournament, with monies raised from the auction of memorabilia and other donated prizes going to the Coalition for the Protection of Children and the Bermuda Gymnastics Association. We contacted the Coalition for the Protection of Children to ask if they were aware that a convicted sex offender who is still on probation was the headliner for the event. Sheila Cooper, the founder and chair of the Coalition for the Protection of Children, responded with a statement, quote, "Thanks to the due diligence, we have been made aware of the situation and have withdrawn from any involvement in the event. To be fair, I am sure that even the golf club was probably taken by surprise, as this individual's involvement was not common knowledge. Thank goodness someone was on the ball." 6 young cricketers from the ICC associate members of the Americas regions have been selected to trial at each of the Caribbean Premier League franchises in June. American Stephen Taylor, along with Bermudian Christian Burgess, are joined by 4 Canadian cricketers who will be keen to make an impression in the Caribbean later this year. The ICC Americas players will be allocated to one of the 6 CPL franchises, along with 4 West Indies under-19 cricketers for each franchise for a pre-tournament training camp. 1 rookie contract per franchise will be offered from amongst these 5 possible candidates. Bermuda continue taking part in the Junior Davis Cup in El Salvador. Bermuda is being represented by Dylan Powell, David Leader, and Luke Astride Sterling. Bermuda went down losing to Panama 2-1. Powell lost his singles match 6-2, 6-4. Astride Sterling won his singles match in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3. Astride Sterling and Powell then lost the match in the doubles 6-4, 6-4. BHS runners won 2 of 4 races as the Bermuda School Sports Federation's 2015 Senior School Cross Country Championships took place at the Arboretum yesterday. Messiah Greaves from BHS ran to victory in the under-16 girls race. She was followed by Salter's pair, Lindsay Palmer and Laura Hope, who finished 2nd and 3rd. Matthew Oliveira from Warwick Academy and Caden Hopkins from Salter's crossed the line together and were declared the winners in the under-16 boys race, with Aaron Jacobs from Barclay Institute finishing in 3rd. The over-16 girls race saw Kyra Scraders run to victory. She represented the Barclay Institute. Jordan Bascom, also from the Barclay Institute, finished 2nd, and Haley Sullivan from Salters finished in 3rd. The over-16 boys race was won by Tyler Smith, representing BHS. David Darrow from Warwick Academy finished 2nd, and Janaze Swan from Barclay Institute finished in 3rd. A total of 256 points were scored last evening in the Selwyn Island Basketball League as it continued inside the Summersfield Academy Gymnasium with a men's doubleheader. The Twisters got the evening off with a 65-49 win over the Flyboys. Kevin Stevens scored a season-high 33 points for the Twisters, and Jaron Haley added 19 points for the Flyboys. The second game of the night saw the Thundercats defeat the Hoopstars 79-63. Jason Lowe became the highest single game scorer for the league this season with 41 points for the Thundercats, while Johnny Lugo scored 17 points for the Hoopstars. The Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club's Oswego Island Team Squash League season continued with Week 4 action last evening. 5 matches ended 3-0, with 3 matches decided by just 1 point. In a Diamond League encounter, Raw Talent defeated Strange Brew 3-0. Patrick Foster got the better of Richard Brewer 11-7, 11-3, 11-8, while Nazir Smith defeated Maury Brewer 8-11, 11-5, 12-10, 11-5. Keon Knights wrapped up the victory for his team, defeating Jan Brewer 11-8, 7-11, 11-7, 9-11, 11-4. It's Complicated defeated Fitness Class 2-1 in their Girl League match. Gary Levon gave It's Complicated the lead when he defeated Kieran Murphy 11-8, 11-6, 11-3. But Bill Boosie's loss to Canty Corbin 11-9, 11-7, 11-8 scraped the match at 1-1. Susan Rose defeated Gary Ince 9-11, 12-10, 11-3, 12-10 to earn It's Complicated the win. The third round of the Digicel Middle School League and Erie High School Rugby League took place at the National Sports Center yesterday with 66 points scored in a doubleheader. The Cedarbridge Academy defeated the Barclay Institute 12-5 in the opener. Cedarbridge Academy got tries from Shaquan Smith and Anthony Souza, with Smith kicking 1 conversion. Matthew Gilbert scored the lone try for the Barclay Institute. The second game of the day saw Warwick Academy defeat the Bermuda Institute 27-22. The Bermuda Bowl Hockey League season continued with a triple header at the PCC hockey rink last night with 24 goals scored. In the opener, the Toronto Arenas defeated the Atlanta Flames 3-1 with all 4 goals coming in the first period. Jeffrey Engelman gave the Toronto Arenas the lead, and then Cam Poland doubled that lead. Jacob Amlong pulled a goal back for the Atlanta Flames, but Warren Miller restored the Toronto Arenas 2-goal lead, and with no further goals being scored, the Arenas took all the points. The second game of the night saw 11 goals scored as the California Golden Seals defeated the Colorado Rockies 6-5. In the final game of the night, the Minnesota North Stars defeated the Quebec Nordiques 8-1. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Friday, February the 6th, it will be mostly cloudy with rain and showers, easing by afternoon. Winds northwesterly and strong, easing moderate to strong by evening and moderate overnight. We're expecting a high near 66 and a low near 54. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Well, thanks for watching VSB News Online for Thursday, February the 5th. I'm Charles Webb.